Hi everyone, welcome back to the How I Work With series with Collab. I'm Parveen Downer, a tech career coach and senior product manager. And today we're going to talk about Miro and how to collaborate better with our stakeholders in creative workshop settings. So I've got my workshop summary here. I'm introducing what it is we're trying to achieve with these various types of participants. So we have product managers, marketing teams, data analysts, customer support reps, and external pricing consultants because we're a bit fancy. However, as a product person, I know that the best way to get the most from these workshops is to help people think outside the box. In order to do that, I want to start off my workshop creating a safe space for people to feel like they can share their ideas. But before we do that, I actually just want to take people out of their comfort zones, not thinking about their day to day, not thinking about their Slack notifications. How do we get them in the zone for this workshop? So I like to start with some icebreakers, and I've got 3 here for you as examples that we could use. The first is this one here. Actually, it's already in Miro. You can get through it through the templates here, and it's called character mix. So everyone will make themselves a character block, a name, and they can choose from all of these lovely different features: facial shapes, hairstyles, facial expressions, hair, accessories, clothing, and even the background color that they want. And it just helps them think, oh, I'm going to be a little bit silly. We're going to have a little bit of fun. And this is me if I were a little character. They kind of almost look like Notion characters. So this is one way to get people in it. It's fairly straightforward. It's fairly low lift in terms of setup because this template exists already. If you just go to templates and type in icebreaker, you'll see that this is already there. All right, so the next one is usually an exercise that you use in the design phase, but you can also use it as an icebreaker. So it's called Crazy Eights. And what you're doing is you're asking people to change just one thing at a time, 8 times. So for example, let's say I were to draw a shape. So let's go with this triangle. And let's say that I want to fill this shape. And let's say I've got another shape here. Let's say a star, and I'm going to put it in the same one here and the same area, and I've colored it green. So now what you're going to do is you're going to have 8 cards for each participant, which sounds like a lot, but copying and pasting will help you out there. And you're going to have people have, let's say, 2 minutes, and they have to make a change to this card 8 times. So the first time, what they might do is say, okay, well, maybe I'll take this triangle and this star, and maybe what I'll do is I'll invert the triangle. That's a change. It's very simple. When people are like, oh, I can't be creative, it's like, well, can you change one thing on this particular image or document? That's creativity. Something that you didn't think or plan to do before, but it's different. Let's take another example. So if I go here and I'm going to copy this over, and I'm actually going to change the order in which these show up. So I'm going to put the star at the top and the triangle at the bottom, and that's my change. And then the next one I might do, for example, I might even add a new shape in. Let's say I want to change the shape. It's completely within someone's power to do that. So, or maybe we add it in, and I want to have a different color. Let's go with our lovely Miro yellow. Okay, so you see how over the period of 30 seconds, I've made all these changes. And what you're trying to show people is that they can be creative, and it doesn't mean that it's a massive, huge change. It just means thinking and changing things ever so slightly and thinking a bit differently. All right, my last one and my favorite one is what I call all change please. So the first is I'm going to create a circle with a thick line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and we are going to do, let's say, 8 circles. So I'm going to use my fancy align tool and in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to change this. So we have 8 circles per person. And we're going to have a text field here so we know whose is whose, just to have a bit of fun with at the beginning of the workshop. Now remember, all we're trying to do is to get people to think more creatively. And oftentimes you're going to have stakeholders say, well, I'm not creative. But you're going to show them. You're going to show them that they can be. I've done it many times before. And I'll have to say at the end of this, everyone's always like, yeah, you know what? I guess I am a bit creative. So Here's one way to do it. So this icebreaker is called All Change Please. And the purpose of it is to have each person make these circles into something else. So for example, so let's say I've got, I don't know, 4 stakeholders in this workshop. We would all come here. And again, we can use the handy dandy timer here in Miro. So let's say I put on, I don't know, it's usually fun to do, let's say 2 minutes. And so in these 2 minutes, I want to change as many of these circles under my name into something completely different. So for example, I might use the drawing tool and maybe I want to have it be yellow. Okay, so the first one I might make into a sun. Great. Or maybe it looks a bit like a dinosaur to start with. We can have a bit of fun. So it's a little bit slow, but it's fine. We're collaborating. We're all in the same one here. One of my favorite things to do is to create, obviously I've done this before, glasses. So if we connect this as the nose bridge, and then we've got there we go. We got some spectacles, some glasses. Maybe I'll do a clock. Maybe we're telling time. Maybe those fancy watches that don't actually have all the numbers on them. So you still have to figure out how to read analog time. Do we remember how to do that? Okay. Another one might be, for example, a pizza. Maybe I'm making, and not at all coloring in the lines, but you know what? That's creativity. Maybe I'll get some color going here. Maybe I'll do some pepperoni, or maybe I'll do some green peppers because, vegetables. So we can have as much or as little information on here as we want. So keeping with the green thing, I know we can have a spiral. So maybe something to hypnotize people. And you don't have to get everyone to explain this out loud. All you need to do is just have a little bit of fun with it. So we're going to stop. And then afterwards, what you do is you can go around and people can share the one circle or 2 circles they're most excited about. And it just gets people to think in a different creative way, showing them they can be creative, and it's so low stakes. And honestly, the more silly, the better. It does not have to be perfect. And it hopefully shows people that it's okay to think outside of the box, that they can think outside the box. So when you get to that pricing strategy conversation, they're actually primed and ready to think outside the box. So there you have it. There's 3 ways for you to engage with your stakeholders to help them be more creative at the outset of a workshop so that you can get the most from them. I'd love to know how you use Miro to get people excited and in the creative mindset before a workshop. I'm sure there's lots of ideas out there. I'd love to hear them. See you next time.